Dry white wine to make the sauce with. All right, I will clean that up later, but here we go. Add those few extra layers of flavor. There's a butteriness about it, there's a nuttiness from the fennel, and to me it's kind of like candy. Welcome to the Simply Luxurious Kitchen, and welcome to my kitchen here in Bend, Oregon, my Papillon. Today we're going to make a recipe that is straight inspired from the garden here at my house. I have quite a few strawberry plants that came with the property, and I have continued to keep them and nourish them as much and as best as I can. And we're going to turn them into a very simple tart, but not your classic strawberry tart. We're going to add depths of flavor, and I'm going to show you some ideas on how to do that, so you can work with it with what is in your garden, what is at your farmer's market seasonally right now. We are in September actually right now, middle of September as I'm taping this, and I still have so many strawberries out there, and it's hard not to have a tart every single night. But anyway, we're going to make one that just made my mouth water this past early August, late July, and I kept playing with it, kept tinkering with it, and I want to share it with you today. All right, so I'll put my tea to the side here. I've been revved up by that, so that's good. This morning, actually, something I do every morning after Norman and I have gone for our walk is that we wander out into the kitchen garden, and I have three pots on either column of my garden porch, so 6 total. And what I loved what the previous owners did is they just planted everberry strawberries, and they're wonderful throughout the late spring and summer because they're green, and then in middle and late summer I have tons of strawberries and they just keep coming, and then in fall they turn a beautiful rusty red and frame the porch in a beautiful way. I also have strawberries edging my my lawn in my kitchen garden that provide even more strawberries. So a very simple way to add berries to your garden in a potager kind of aesthetic, where you are providing beauty but also functionality, so you can bring in that berry of your choice. In this case for me it's strawberries, which I've always loved. In fact, because this property has strawberries, when I redid the mantle of my fireplace, I'll show you a peek here, I designed it with all sorts of different ceramic tile. And each of the tile with an image tells a story about my life, past, present, and future. And one of the tiles had to be strawberries. I've always been a lover of strawberries, but I also have strawberries in abundance on this property. So let's get started with this fresh strawberry tart. Now, first things first, we have to make the pastry. And I have this pastry down by heart. It's one I've shared with you many, many times. It is so simple. So let's make it lickety split. All you need are flour, butter, sugar, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of water. That's it. So we're gonna add a half a cup of flour. And I like my pastry flour for this one, a little bit more there. And then about 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar. Again, at this point, I eyeball everything. I've done this so many times, and it's all about watching it come together and knowing what's missing, what's not missing. But the recipe is really simple. A half a cup of flour, 1/4 cup of butter, 1 to 2 tablespoons of sugar, and a pinch of salt with 1 to 3 tablespoons of water. So let's get the salt and the butter. Again, unsalted butter, and pick the best butter you can with the highest butter fat count. And this is chilled butter, although we are going to chill the crust or the pastry before we actually start messing with it. And there we go. Just make sure it's like a roughly looking like sand. So everything kind of is together, yeah? But it's not a total mixture. All right, now we add the water. 2 tablespoons. Again, it depends on where you live. If you live in a really dry region like we do here in Bend, I get to at least 2, sometimes 3, depending on the time of year. And today I just needed about 1.5. Okay, so now we're gonna wrap this in plastic wrap, place it in the refrigerator for at least 30 minutes. You can make this well ahead of time, but 30 minutes is all you really need, all right? I've already made some. It's in the refrigerator, ready for us to roll it out. So I'm gonna grab that and we'll make the pastry dough, get ready to bake this crust. So to make this pastry very simple, we're just gonna roll it out on a flat countertop here, put some flour down. You can even put some sugar down since it's a sweet tart, and grab this from the fridge. It's been in about there for, in my case, 1.5 hours or 2, and all it needs is about 30 minutes though. And at this point, you're just rolling it out to the size you want. Now, somebody wants in. There's the star of the show. Say hello. Bonjour. Hi, Norman. Okay, Norman's joined us. So we're gonna consider the size we wanna put this tart in. Now, in all sincerity, when I make these for myself, I am not really thinking about the size. I'm thinking about how is this gonna taste in my belly? I have a couple different sizes I could use. I have the removable pan for the square. I have the removable pan for the round. And I have tart rings with no bottom. I like these a lot. It's a lot easier to clean and it makes them very sharp and neat. But at the same time, and I've done this many times in the blog, you probably remember these, I make galettes all the time. So there's no tart pan necessary whatsoever. You just roll it out, put the fruit in and fold it up, and that's it. That one is so easy to clean up with, clean up after when you make them. I really prefer that one. But today, for shape, I'm going to use this ring, tart ring. It's a 4-inch tart ring. And I might be able to get 2 out of this. We'll see. So we're just gonna roll it out. Make sure the bottom has flour underneath it. Beautiful. Tastes good. Might need to add a little bit more on top. Norman and I went on a nice long walk this morning. So he is napping, and it has been well earned. I'll be napping after I have this tart and a cup of tea. Most definitely. Okay. Now, you can put the tart there and take your paring knife and just go about 1.5 inches wider. But you don't have to. Again, I'm pretty freeform when it comes to tarts anymore. I just want to eat the berries. And one of the first things I did when I moved into this house, because it was September, hang on one second, is I have berries. I have blackberries, a lot of blackberries. I have a lot of strawberries. And that year I had a lot of peaches. This year I don't have as many peaches, but I do about every other year. And I was like, okay, tart time. So I made my pastry. I made my mixture of my fruit, put them all together, and just decided to see what would it taste like. It was good. And now I've just started to really play with it even more. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. Okay, so get a 1/4 sheet baking pan, parchment, okay, and put that ring right down. There we go, and right inside. Now another tip you can do if you really want, like if this dough is just too warm, put this, just like it is, after you put it in the ring, into the refrigerator for another 30 minutes. All right, and in fact, since I haven't made the mixture of the fruit yet, that is exactly what I'm going to do. And I'll finish off the edges so they're nice and neat when I'm ready to put the fruit in. So let's make the fruit. That was good. All right, now it's time to prepare the strawberries and the mixture that's going to go inside this tart. But first, let's go out into the garden and see where we picked them from. There you go, Norman. Thanks for sharing. Norman says, now it's time for a nap. So all we're doing now is just topping the strawberries. If they're big strawberries, again, these are fairly small strawberries, which I love. They have so much more flavor. But I just top them, sometimes slice them in half. If they're really big, I'll slice them in quarters like this puppy. Woo, you are good looking. And then you need about a cup. So I have more than a cup here. And again, have a few while you're making this because this is a seasonal treat. There's no tartness here. It's completely, excuse me, it's completely sweet. You're not gonna have to add a lot of extra sugar to this dish, which you'll see in a minute. And again, this is a tart that I usually will only have when my strawberries are ripe. And it makes this special because I'm waiting until that happens. You know, I'm in anticipation. This year they were a little bit later than normal because of our late winter. And it just, it makes those kind of meals even more delicious. And, you know, I love going out in the garden in the morning, as I was mentioning, and just, hey, I would like a snack. So Norman needs some too, as you saw in the video there. And we just have a few before we go about our day. It's just, that's what's lovely about having your own potager. I like that nibbling aspect and the freshness and knowing where it came from, but also knowing that it's not forever and to enjoy and savor it when you have it and not ask for more. Just nurture it, let it be what it's going to be. Some really good life lessons out in the garden. All right, we're almost there. I'll wrap these up and we'll mix them up with some really cool flavors. All right, now comes the fun part. Adding the layers of flavor. So this past spring, I was perusing about in a bookstore. Happened to be in Paris. Paris, but it was an English book that I came across. It was published over 10 years ago, and it's called, I'm going to show it to you here, the Flavour Thesaurus. This is a must-have in your kitchen if you love to tinker about, try things, experiment in your own kitchen, and especially if you are doing what I'm doing, working with what you have at your fingertips and not going out with a recipe in mind. You want to work with what you have. So I have strawberries. So what I did, I went into the index and I said, okay, strawberries. What works well with strawberries? And so I went to the strawberry page. Voila, strawberries. And it goes through so many different combinations for multiple pages. So 3 full pages of combinations of what different flavor profiles, combining it with different food or spices or herbs, brings out in the strawberries when you bite into that dish. So we are going to add Amaretto, and I'll take you into my épicerie here in a minute, because it makes a sweet and sharp combination. We are also going to add strawberry and hazelnut, the combination of hazelnut, which is a nut I love, and I have it roasted already and chopped up and even candied in my épicerie, so perfect. And what the what the strawberry and hazelnut does is that it has a deep flavor without being overpowering. So it's great with strawberries, reading from the book, allowing the fruit's flavor to shine in a way that chocolate rarely can. Ho ho ho, now that's hard to do. Chocolate's pretty awesome. So I said I'm gonna give this a try, and when I did, I loved it. So this is where I think we know what the main ingredient's going to be, but how do we make that main ingredient sing even more beautifully? And that's what this book does. It also talks about cinnamon, it talks about anise, it talks about rhubarb. We all know the wonderful pairing of strawberry and rhubarb, and why vanilla and strawberry go so well together. So let's go to my épicerie and we'll pull out a few of those items. So I have my amaretto liqueur. I have my candied hazelnuts, which I put in all sorts of different sweet treats, especially my Oregon chocolate chip cookies. I love putting them in there. And what we're gonna do with these, you can put them in the actual mixture itself, which I'll do, and then you're gonna wanna put them on top of the mixture as well. So we have about a cup of strawberries, and we're gonna add 1 to 2 tablespoons. I know, but you want the flavor, so you're gonna add that. And then we're gonna add a few other things. So let's do the almond liqueur. There we go. I love that smell. Okay. We're gonna add about a tablespoon of this now. Okay, we'll add more in a minute. Now, what I'm gonna add is the cinnamon, pinch, now the other thing I'm going to add here that actually isn't in the book, and this is where you start to just explore, because the book offers inspiration and then you just let it run. I'm going to add basil. Basil is not in the profile combinations of strawberry, but it is in the profile with raspberries. And it's in the profile with vanilla, which goes well with strawberries, and in the profile of walnuts and almonds. I'm using hazelnuts, still that nutty flavor. So I've done this before, I've added basil, and I liked it. You don't even know it's really basil. Again, it's just adding a different, fresh depth to this recipe that just makes you go, I like it. So we're gonna rough chop this up. This is from the garden as well. And again, this is an opportunity for me to use something that I don't have out in the garden all year round. So I'm sitting there going, why not give it a try? Okay. I'm gonna stir this up. My little tiny spoon. And in sincerity, you probably don't need any sugar added to this. The strawberries have enough of that. So we're actually not gonna add any sugar, but if you, after you played with this a bit, realize I need something a little sweeter, you're gonna add maybe a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of sugar to this 1 to 2 tartlet recipe. But that's all you need to do. I'm gonna set that aside. Set the topping aside. We'll put that on the top once we get everything assembled. And again, this book, another little tip about this book, not only does it share with you the different combinations, it gives you ideas for recipes as well. And I love that. It's just a great resource I have in my kitchen, along with everything else, which I'm constantly going and learning all sorts of new things. Let's get the dough out. We're gonna turn the oven to 400 degrees. And I'm gonna rolling pin back out here. And again, just putting it in the fridge a little bit longer just enables that butter to chill, which when you put it in the oven, that's what gives that release of air and the moisture, and that's what puffs and makes it crispier. So anytime you have an opportunity to chill a little bit longer your pastry, I highly recommend you doing it. Roll off the edge. And you could even keep that and then cover, so just fold it over the top of the fruit, and I've done that too. This is where, again, you're experimenting, having fun. For me, this is playtime. When I have such ingredients at my fingertips, when I have, you know, an hour or the end of my day in the work office is done, or whatever I have to do for work is done. I mean, this is play for me, and I completely am held in the present when I do this, and I love that feeling. Okay, just fill in all the little gaps. Make sure all the juices come in with the rest of that fruit. Even if you don't use all the fruit, I mean, you don't have to fill your tart up as full as I'm going to fill this one up. You could probably do two mini tarts, but since it's just moi, and Norman has already had his fresh fruit, this is all mine. Okay, now sprinkle it on top, that hazelnut, candied hazelnut. It's okay if it goes off. Ooh, this is gonna be so good. And that is it. That is all you have to do. You do not blind bake this crust. That is how simple this recipe is. You're gonna bake it, again, check your oven. For 400 degrees Fahrenheit, you bake it for 17 to 20 minutes. I would check it at about 15. You want the crust to be golden brown. And because you have put your crust in there, and hopefully it's, you know, no gaps or anything anywhere, the juices should all stay in the tart pastry. But if not, that's why you have your parchment and all as well. So we're gonna stick this in the oven for 17 to 20 minutes, and then we're gonna enjoy it. Okay, just came out of the oven about 17, 18 minutes. And as you can see, it's a little messy, but it smells so good in this kitchen. Now, this is one reason why I like to make galettes. Galettes enable you to pull the extra pastry over the top. And while it doesn't totally eliminate running, that's why I have the parchment paper, it does decrease it quite a bit. Now you don't want this ring to sit in this this sticky, sweet fruitiness too long, otherwise it'll get stuck. But you might want to let it cool a little bit before you take it out. But trust me, it'll still look beautiful and it'll taste even better. And that is all that really matters. Let's give it about 5 minutes to rest, and then we will take it out of the tart ring and eat it. Okay, so I'll be honest, I probably took it out of the ring a little too quickly. It was a little juice running out, but if I would have left it on 15 minutes total, this would have set up beautifully, but I have to admit, I was really excited to try it. And I like that we put the nuts on top because it tells you that there are nuts in the filling as well. I cannot wait to take a bite. Are you ready? Let's do this. Mmm. 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 I'm gonna taste the amaretto, but not in an aggressive way. It just adds something, having had strawberry tarts with just strawberry tart normal filling by themselves, a little bit of sugar. There's something different here, and it's warmer. And it just adds or fills that gap. And I do taste a smidge of that freshness from the basil. And I didn't have to put any extra sugar in here. The strawberries, when they are fresh from the garden, that's all you need. I really hope today's episode inspired you to find an ingredient that you love for meat with strawberries, that you have at your fingertips right now, whatever season it might be, or whatever season you find yourself, and use the resources that, whether it's that book or any other book, that gives you ideas of what to do to add depths of flavor and complement that particular ingredient. You can do it. Have some fun. Stray from the recipe. It's worth it, and your taste buds will thank you. I hope you enjoy your day. Enjoy your food and enjoy stepping into